prophet of YHWH, and we're going to deal with just the first chapter of Haggai. We're not going to go all over the place. We're just going to deal with the first chapter. The book of Haggai is a short book. It only has 2 chapters in it. And we're going to see what the Spirit of Yahweh that was on the prophet, what he had told to the children of Israel, what they needed to do. And this word is so prevalent to our day and time in 2018. It's going to sound like the prophet Haggai is talking to us. Are y'all hearing that?
Yes.
And guess what? He is. He is. Because this was written by Hebrews to Hebrews in all generations and for all times. All right? So we're going to deal and talk and learn a little bit about the prophet Haggai. And we're going to be dealing with Yahweh's call to his people. How many people know that Yahweh is calling his people?
Hallelujah.
He's speaking to his people. See, on the 6th day, on the 7th day, the Bible says in Genesis chapter 2 that he ceased from all of his work that he had made. And he rested on the Sabbath day. And then over in Genesis chapter, later on it talks about he didn't have no man to till the ground. So he created man to do some work. Hallelujah. And that's what we go forward from there, doing the work of Yahweh. But Yahweh has to call us to the work. Everybody hasn't been called to the work of Yahweh. Because you have people who would come in one day and leave out the next. But we need to understand and know that Yahweh is calling us to work in his vineyard. Hallelujah. We have to work while it's day, for the night cometh and no man work. So we have to learn how to work and do the things that the Father is requiring of us. But yet still, he's calling us to it. He's calling you into it. He's inviting us to be a part of what he's doing. So the prophet Haggai is going to talk to us and begin to let us know and understand what it is that Yahweh is speaking to us. Have you ever wondered why life is so challenging? Have you ever wondered why it often seems meaningless at times? Sometimes life can seem meaningless. And it says why we never seem to get ahead or have enough. Has anybody ever wondered that? Why doesn't it seem like we can ever get ahead? Why does it seem like life is meaningless? Or is this all to life is what we see now? See, if this is all that life has to offer, then we're not looking at too much. Are y'all hearing that? So we ask these questions and we begin to stimulate our heart and our mind saying, Father, isn't there more to what we're doing than just coming and just attending and then going out? And is there more to it than what's happening and what's going on? Why can't it seem that we as the children of Yahweh, why can't we get ahead? We have turned to the commandments. We've said yes to Yahweh. We have started, keeping the Torah and keeping the commandments the best way we know how. We've been learning about him, but it seems like we can't get ahead, or we never have enough. We always just have just enough. We don't have enough and an abundance to really be able to share with everybody that we come together. We just have enough. Am I talking to anybody here? Okay. This was the case with Israel way back then. This was the case with Israel way back then. And Yahweh had to call a remnant of his people out of Babylon, where they had been in exile and they had been scattered. And he called them to return to their homeland to begin to rebuild, because they were dealing with the same thing that we're dealing with today. They were 16 years out of captivity. 16 years out of captivity, and nothing was happening. Nothing was going on for them. And Yahweh began to use Haggai to call not everybody, but to speak to the remnant of Israel and call his people out of the ones he had called out of Babylon. He began to call them and said, hey, it's time for y'all to return home so that you can begin to start rebuilding their nation. But because he called them, Haggai had 4 different messages that he gave to his people in those 2 chapters. And one of the messages that Haggai gave to the children of Israel was stop procrastinating and making lame excuses of why you shouldn't return. Are y'all hearing that? He told them, the second one he said, he wanted them to give careful thought to their ways. Give careful thought to what you are doing. See, we need to begin to pay attention to what we are doing. Because the very thing that we're doing is causing us not to have enough. The very thing that we're focusing on the most is the thing that is causing you not to have the fulfillment that the Father wants to give you in Him. The very thing you're concentrated on. And Haggai had to remind the children of Israel that the Father was calling them to do something greater than what they were doing already. But they had a problem with procrastination and making lame excuses, and they didn't want to give careful thought to their ways. And he told them to consider the causes of their suffering. Now, I'm going to tell you why. You got suffering going on in your life, right? You don't have enough. It was due to Yahweh's disciplining them. Even after captivity, he was still trying to move them in a place and in a position so that they could ultimately move into obedience again to Yahweh. And he began to share with them the results of obedience. And we're going to talk about that. So in Haggai, the verses 1 through 4, he deals with the procrastination. In Haggai, verse 5 and 8, he's dealing with giving careful thought to the ways of what they're doing, the children of Israel. And then in verse 9 and 11, he's telling them to consider the cause of their suffering was due to Yahweh's disciplining them. And then in Haggai chapter 12 is dealing with returning back to obedience to do what Yahweh is prescribing. And then in the last few verses of chapter 1, 13 and 15, he's dealing with and showing them the results of their obedience. Okay? So that's the overview. Haggai's message was likely timed to cause an attention to the tragic fact while the people should be celebrating a victorious life and worshiping in the temple was still laid in ruins. This has been 16 years, again, after they come out of Babylon, and the temple, the place where they was the center of the focal point of the life of the Israelite, was laying in ruin. They were just allowing it to lay in ruin while they attended their own personal lives. They attended their own personal jobs. They was focused on their families and their lifestyle while the house of Yahweh was laying in ruins. And Haggai began to come with this timely message to cause attention to the fact that we should be celebrating. We're out of captivity. We should be building. We should be creating. We should be restoring this focal point of our life so that we can celebrate the Most High Yah in our own temple. Are y'all hearing this? And we're not in our own, having our own, but instead of us having our own and repairing our own, we're so busy working on everybody else's stuff. And we're not focused on our own. So he began to come with this timely message to remind the children of Israel what they needed to be done. And the reason why he's so famous and he's popular in the sense of his writing is because they listened to him. And they did what he said. This was obviously a blemish on the whole community that what they had was in ruins, but yet still, they're still working on somebody else. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like today? We're so busy and preoccupied with working for somebody else and doing what they want us to do, and we put Yahweh's stuff on the back burner and say, not today, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. The temple was to be the very center and focal point of the nation's life, the clear symbol of Yahweh's presence among them. That's why the Romans went in and sacked Jerusalem. That's why the Greeks went in, did the same thing prior to that. Hitting the focal point of the Israelites because it symbolizes that they were conquering the God of Israel. So they went in there, they heard about the fame, they heard about all this stuff, and they went in and took it. That's why you see on the Ark of Titus in Rome, you got them taking the menorah out and all of the jewelry and precious things from the temple, because it was a symbol that they were overcoming their God and putting them in captivity. But we know that's not what happened, right? Yahweh was not being defeated in this, but he had to turn his people over to them because they were disobedient. Y'all hear that? Yet the people could not worship in the house of Yahweh because they had failed to rebuild the temple. Even after 16 years of being out of Babylon, they still wasn't putting their hand to the plow, doing what the Father had required of them to do. Y'all following this? Thus, the timing of Haggai's message highlighted the sad reality of the chosen one's failure again to obey Yahweh. Can you imagine going into captivity because of your disobedience, and now you're out of captivity and you still what? So I guess nothing from nothing leaves what? See, and the Father's calling us to reveal. He's calling us to join together. He's calling us to create things of our own. But guess what we still are? Disobedient. Woo-wee! Y'all probably ain't gonna like me after this message, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Haggai chapter 1, verse 1 through 15. Come on. We're going to read it first. Come on.
In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedich, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of the hosts, saying, These people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built.
Now the word of the Lord, thus says the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come. The time the Lord's house should be. The time ain't now for us to be going to Israel and thinking about Israel and thinking about anything of Yahweh right now. The time is not. Don't that sound familiar? Yes. They were saying the same thing back then. 16 years out of captivity, they were still saying, the time ain't now for us to be doing nothing. It ain't time yet. Now y'all see the procrastination? Procrastination and excuses. It's not time for us to be rebuilding no temple. It's not time for us to begin to be thinking about going back home. Even though we can get passports, even though we can work a job just enough to get us somewhere else to start investing, start going to see where we want to settle it with our families, we still in our hearts and our minds are procrastinating, saying it's not time yet. And we think we got a lot of time left, but we don't. And that's the deception. They had started building the walls. Remember in the time of Ezra? They were building the walls of the temple. As a matter of fact, that King Darius gave them wood and gave them certain things to get started on it. But after that, the people languished. They stopped doing. They just built the walls. They didn't get a chance to actually build the temple. And they procrastinated for 16 years. Not doing what the Father had said. I wonder what happened when you first heard this truth. Because everybody that hears this truth don't all respond the same way. Some people hear the truth and they act like they didn't hear it. They hear this truth and they act like, well, maybe he ain't talking to me. And then once the truth corners you, when you hear it and understand it, now you got to make a what? A decision. And sometimes you didn't hear it the first year. The second year, you heard it, you understood it, but you still didn't obey it. Now the fourth year. Now it's the fifth year. Now it's your 10th year and you still ain't obeyed Yah. Wow. But he's already given you the word. See, when the Father told me to stop playing the organ and stuff for churches, it took a long time for me to understand that word. I didn't get it the first time. He started talking to me about that way early in 2001 and 2, telling me to stop. I was like, it ain't time for me to stop. It ain't time, come on. I can't be. Maybe you mean don't play for this church no more. I go play for another one. And it seemed like every time I went to another church, they paid me more and more money. I said, well, man, they gave me what I need. Now, why would I want to quit now? You see how the devil can bless you to bind you? Let me say it again. How many people know that the devil can bless you to bind you? I'm making 6 figures. I know y'all's real. I got a house in the suburbs built from the ground up. And you grinning. Ooh, I got me a white picket fence. I got a dog, 2.2 children, and a nice ride, 2 rides outside. Shoot. Why would I want to give all of that up and go to work for y'all? Don't y'all know that this job of mine is God? Y'all hearing this? Some of y'all think the state is God. Yeah. And I saw the state working. I work at a job, and I saw some of the gifts they're giving the children for Christmas. When they say the state is truly these folks' fathers or their gods, man, they hook them up with Xboxes and all, Kindle, tablet. They getting better stuff than y'all getting. Y'all taking care of y'all children. I guess that's why they want to stay in the system, don't they? Getting 3 meals a day, shoot, and gifts. And y'all hearing this? So procrastination and excuses is what the children of Israel deals with when we talk about moving forward in the things of Yah. We procrastinate and we make excuses. Just be honest and say, I don't want to do it. Because that's the truth. They make excuses about earning more money. I got to earn more money, so I can't do nothing for y'all right now. I got to earn more money. I got to increase their businesses. They got businesses they're setting up, so we got to create these businesses and stuff. And I'm making so much money doing that. I ain't got time to do anything for y'all. I'm not talking about creating businesses for the people of y'all want to start working and start to put us in a place where we can invest in where we're going and where we're headed. But I'm talking about people who are just making businesses and spending it and investing all of their energy in America or in the land of their captivity. They make excuses about being more successful, becoming more successful. They make excuses about taking care of their family. They make excuses and they procrastinate while they spend time with their friends and socializing. They make excuses because they're living with cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is something that's not steeped in reality. They're in a fantasy world. They're on a different wavelength in mind and thought. And just to talk about thought, feelings, and choices, because that's the sum total of a lot of us. We are full of thoughts that create feelings within us about the thought. And then once the feeling takes root, then we make decisions and choices on how we feel. There's a process to it. The thought, then the feeling, and then you make the choice. My wife and I, we were talking about that this morning. I said, you know what? I can see in our life where we had thoughts that came in our mind and we felt a certain way about the thought. Or somebody did you wrong. When somebody do you wrong, guess what comes to your mind? A thought. When somebody cuss you out, what comes to your mind? A thought. I suggest in your mind that comes first, and then you retaliate or do whatever you're going to do. So we're some total of what we think, how we feel, and based on that, we make choices and decisions on that. And that's what the soul houses. The soul houses your thinking, your feelings, and your choosing. Everybody say thinking, feelings, and choosing. So if you don't check your thought and check why you feel in a certain way about this thought in your mind, you're getting ready to make a choice not based on truth, but based on your feeling and based on what the thought is. That's how most arguments get started. That's how most disagreements get started. Because you got a thought that came into your mind, and instead of checking that thought, you allow feelings to get a hold of that thought, and all of a sudden you start making decisions and choices based on your feeling, the way you feel about the thought that's in your mind. Are y'all hearing this? Let me tell y'all something. Nobody in here can make you mad. Nobody in here can make you upset. Nobody has why are you giving somebody that much power over you to make you mad? Why are you giving somebody that much power over you to make you upset? That's their thoughts, that's their feelings, and that's the choices that they're making to try to get you to get mad. But you can say, no, I'm not going to think that way about what the words you're giving to me. I'm not going to think that way. I got a choice to make. I can think that way or not to. I can refuse the thought. And I can check my own feelings so that I can make the proper choice based on truth opposed to what you're giving me. Because when people talk, when you hear me talk, I'm giving you thoughts. Thoughts are coming to your mind as I'm talking. How many people understand this? When I'm talking to you, you're getting pictures and thoughts in your mind, and images in your mind as I'm talking to you. Like if I said black cat, what did everybody just see? Ain't that something? Now, how do you feel about it? Now, based on how you feel about the black cat, it's going to make you feel a certain way about it. Why is Pastor talking about black cats? It was a white cat that scratched me when I was little. So you don't say nothing about no white cat. Well, I think about the time when I was little and picked up that little cute cat. I thought it was cute. And I picked it up, wanted to pet it, and that thing turned around and put all 4 of his paws in my chest. And I was like this. And the cat was still hanging on my chest. And I was like, please let me go. That's why I don't like cats today. I said, you look cute, but you ain't cute. You ain't innocent. I don't know what you might do. Y'all hearing this? They make excuses about normalcy biases. Normalcy biases. Things are so normal. Your life is so normal. You don't think it's going to ever happen to you. You don't think nothing bad ever is going to happen to you. It's what the people thought in Paradise, California, too, didn't they? Ain't no fire going to come to our place. We're going to build our house, boy, just have it nice. Right in all of these woods and forests. And ended up losing their house. Cognitive distortions. We talked about that. Where you have a thought that is completely opposite or completely wrong. It's taken out and it's merited in fantasy and fairy tale. You have a thought and say, you know what? Nobody loves me. Nobody knows the truth. Every time I do that, you always do the always. Y'all know good well somebody don't always do that to you. Over exaggeration. Y'all hear that? That's cognitive distortion. I'm just so ugly, nobody loves me. Nobody want to talk to me. Is that really true? No. Okay, cognitive distortions. And just old-fashioned fear is another reason or excuse and procrastination that caused the children of Israel to procrastinate. Y'all getting something so far? Haggai 1 and 3. What it say? But look at what the Father said. Remember, up to this point, the children of Israel said, it ain't time to do this. Watch what Haggai said.
Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet, saying, it is time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste.
So in other words, he was telling them and letting them know, is it time for you, or you dwell in your little sealed houses? You got beautiful sealed houses that you're living in, but yet this house lies in waste. The Yahweh's house, what he's trying to do is lie in waste. So what that lets you know and understand is that every time you continue to do what you do, you allow the Father's stuff to wait on the back burner. Every time you continue on walking in disobedience, and you're not walking in obedience, Yahweh's things and plans and visions wait. And it lies in waste. All of this potential that every person in this room has. Every time you wait to be obedient to Yahweh, you delay his plans a little longer. Everybody's waiting for Yahweh to come. Everybody waiting for Yeshua to crack the sky. But nobody has obeyed yet. So you delay his coming by your procrastination and by your excuses. Something to consider and think about, don't you think? Huh? Yes. So what did the prophet say to the children of Israel?
Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Because you're delaying the projects of Yahweh by your disobedience, and you continue on doing what you're doing, he said, it's time for you to consider your ways. There has to be a consideration of how you are thinking and processing and feeling about the thing that Yahweh is trying to get you to move into. It's not His will for us to stay in captivity. Are y'all hearing that? Unless you believe you're not in captivity. Now, if you don't believe you're in captivity, then of course you're going to continue on staying and doing what you've been doing all this time. But when you understand, no, you're in captivity. You're in captivity. You're in captivity. You're in the land of punishment. As long as you keep thinking that, no, this is okay, I'm all right, then you're going to keep on doing what you're doing. Keep procrastinating, keep making excuses, and keep delaying the plans that Yahweh has for us to get busy, to get started into. And just like the prophet is trying to wake the children of Israel up and saying, we've been out of Babylon for 16 years. How long does it take for us to start doing what He called us to do? So if they was having trouble in 16 years, how much trouble do you think we in 400? Y'all following this? So He said, consider your way. Say, I got to consider my way. Come on, talk to me in here. Talk to yourself. Say, I got to consider my way. Yeah, you do. Wake up. You got to consider your way. Stop being asleep. You got to consider your way. Stop being in a different place in your mind and start considering, what am I doing? Am I working for Yah on His plan and what He wants, or am I doing my own thing and holding up what I'm supposed to do for Him? Consider your way. Haggai 1:6. What it say?
Ye have sown much and bring in little.
Ain't that everybody in here? You have sown a whole lot, but you only can bring in just a little. Work. Some of y'all are working 2 or 3 jobs. Some of y'all are working 2 or 3 jobs, working all these overtime hours, but you're still bringing in little. Is the prophet talking to you, or is he ain't talking to you? Come on, you want to hunch somebody up next to you and say, hey man, he talking to you. Come on, what did it say?
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
You eating, but you know you ain't got enough. You got just enough, but you don't have enough. Come on.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
You drinking, but you ain't filled to the brim with drink. Come on.
Ye clothe you.
You are clothed, but what?
But there is none warm.
But there's really none warm. There ain't no security in the fact that you got some clothes on. Yeah, I got something, but I could always use something else. Just got enough. Come on.
And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Earning wages just to put it in a bag with holes. This is what happens when you're disobedient. You're out of captivity. They've opened the door. You need a passport, and you won't even go do that. But you're gonna keep on earning wages, just putting it in a bag with holes in it. You ain't even making preparations to do the thing that Yahweh's calling you to do. You can start just by going to apply for a passport. Just get a passport. Just have it in the drawer. Have it on your dresser. So you say, at least I got a way. I got a passport at least. Start working towards what the Father is saying. But you're earning wages just to put them in a bag that got holes in it. And it ain't working. What did Haggai say to them?
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Consider your ways. There you go, talking that again. What are you doing? Well, how are you thinking? How are you feeling about the thoughts that's in your mind? And what choices and decisions are you making based on what you think and how you feel? Boy, this is a rich word, ain't it? Ain't nobody saying that. Everybody quiet. I like those guys. That means you're thinking. Consider your way. Why are you not, why do you have enough? Why you gotta keep on the hamster wheel? I work with a lot of sisters, and one sister said, I worked 165 hours overtime. Whoa! My check. Woo! Hey! Getting ready for the Christmas season. I'm in the Christmas spirit. I said, you sure right, you got a spirit. And the spirit is called Christmas. Did he say he's going to fill you with a Christmas spirit or fill you with the spirit of truth?
The spirit of truth.
Ain't that something? And it was like trying to encourage me. Don't you want to work some overtime? They just got it all. You can work as much overtime. I said, we're already in hell. You know, this place is hell. I said, I don't want to spend no more time in hell than I have to. Yeah, she only spent 3 days, right? 3 nights. And he said, get me the hell out of here. I'm gone, bye. Whoever ain't coming, goodbye, good riddance. Y'all stay here. But I'm just 3 days and when that 3 days and 3 nights was over, the lady was coming there, right? She was coming there to give him some spices. And what? She got there, the stone was already rolled away. I ain't staying there no longer than I have to. She said, well, I thought he would be there. The angel said, sister, that our kid's gone. He's out of here. You a day late, $1 too short. Y'all heard that saying before? He's out of here. He ain't stayed there no longer than he needed to. And that's what I told her. I said, sister, I'm not doing that. I don't care how much time they offering. And I definitely wouldn't, if I did do it, I'm definitely not doing it because of Christmas. They was getting ready for a Christmas party. Everybody in the meeting, they trying to decide, what are we going to do for the Christmas party? We want to hear from everybody. They went one by one around the table. And then they skipped me. And then the sisters like, everybody noticed that I didn't get a chance to say where I wanted to go. And then all of the people supervisors, they answered for me. Oh, he doesn't celebrate Christmas.
I love it.
He don't celebrate none of that. He calls it paganism or something. It's pagan or something. He said calls it something like that. But he doesn't celebrate it. So he's going to just work, and be here. Because they all had 4 hours to work, but I worked 8 hours. And I said, hallelujah, I thank the Father for the 8 hours. And after the 8 hours was over, put my little time clock out and said, whoop, checking out of hell for this day. See you tomorrow. So they was trying to entice me like, you getting a free meal? It's a free meal. You get off work early. I said, no, thank you. I'm not interested in none of that. My mind is a lot different than a lot of people. Why? Because I took time to consider my ways and consider my thoughts and my feelings about all of that stuff already. So I don't care what they say. It ain't going to bother me. Y'all hearing that? It shouldn't bother you either. Come on, Haggai 1:1. So he's telling the children, they talk about it ain't time. And he's letting them know it is time. If you sitting there living in a sealed house and you're looking at y'all's work languishing and being in ruins and being in waste, it is time. You got to consider your way. Now look at what it says to them. We almost finished.
Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it. And I will be glorified, saith the Lord.
So he told them, man, go up to the mountain. After you considered your way, go up to the mountain, go get some wood, and build the house. Get started with building the nation of Israel, building the kingdom of Yah. Get ready to start building. Somebody said, well, the kingdom of Yah don't need no help in being built. Oh, yes, it do. That's why he called, there's no kingdom without people. Are y'all hearing that? I mean, y'all could have created this world with just ants on it. They some workers, ain't they? He could have just said, okay, this is enough for me right here. Just ant world. But he decided to make human beings in his image and after his likeness. So he told them, go up to the mountain, bring wood, and build houses. I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, says Yahweh. I'm going to be glorified because obedience is better than sacrifice. Just let's go and get this job done and watch what's going to happen to you, to your wages. Watch what's going to happen to your labor. Watch what's going to happen to you as a community when you start working together to build the kingdom of Yahweh. Why are you going to this thing in Indiana, Pastor? What, them folks ain't never came here. It don't make a difference. We're going to build up the kingdom of Yahweh.
That's right.
We don't even know these people. That's all right. We're going to build up the kingdom of Yahweh.
Yes.
Not by might nor by power, but by the Spirit, says the living Yahweh. Y'all about to see the Spirit. Watch this. Verse 9.
Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little.
Look at this. He said, you looked for much, and lo, it came to little. The much that you've been trying to work towards, only little came out of it. Think about everything you've done in your life. But the moment you stepped over to this way, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, you start getting some understanding. Man, this is a bigger deal. Christmas, man, when I look at Easter, then look at the Passover, wow, I see something different there, wow. I'm looking at these holy days, all of it reminded me of something that Yahweh has done for the children of Israel, done for me. You look for much, and lo, it came to little. It came to naught. What you was working on came to nothing when you was doing it in your own flesh and in your own strength. Remember I was preaching to everybody at the church about 8 years ago? And all those people said, no, I ain't interested. I only had one family that said, hey, I'm with you. All the other people obviously wasn't people that I was connected to. They were there for whatever reason they was there for. But all of that came to little. Y'all hearing that?
That's true.
Now the Father's expanding this. Come on.
And when ye brought it home, I did blow it upon it. Why? Said the Lord of hosts.
He said, when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. You was expecting something mighty, something big, and Father said, when you brought it home, I blew on it. I blew your little dream in your house and your little thing that you wanted to see, I blew on it. Blew it down. That ain't nothing. Now get the right plan and get the right mindset like I got, and then you'll be doing something. And he said, why? Saith the Lord of hosts. Let's see why.
Because of mine house that is waste.
Because of my house and my work and the things that he created and wanted us to do, for him, it's lying waste. So I had to blow upon what you was trying to do. Well, I'm preaching in here better y'all saying anything. I got to stop you doing what you're doing so that you can start focusing on what I want you to do. So I had to blow on that little work you was doing to show you it wasn't nothing. Oh, you out here? Okay, I'm going to do some stuff to you. I'm going to do something in your body. I'm going to make you sick. I'm going to do all kind of stuff to let you know that that's not the way for you. Only when you return to Yahweh in obedience, then you're going to begin to see what's going on. He said, I'm going to let you continue on building and doing what you want to do while my stuff is lying waste. Come on.
And ye run every man unto his own house.
Everybody's running to their own house, doing their own work, doing their own thing, got their own stuff happening and going on. Look at these churches, little houses, all over the place. They got a Pastor's Appreciation Month. They got birthday celebrations. They got Pastor's Aid. They got all this stuff happening, and there ain't nothing that got to do with nothing about building up the kingdom of Yahweh. Christmas parties. Grab bags. All kind of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Christian mingle now they got it. They put Christian on it, that means it's been ordained and sanctified. We got bowling tonight, Christian bowling on it. Christian skating. Woo, we're going to skate tonight. We're going to skate to Jesus. And don't you forget the beloved bingo. We got bingo tonight. Now, what in the world does that have to do with building the kingdom of Yahweh? Come on, y'all. He says, so I had to blow on all of that just to show you it ain't nothing. Haggai 1 and 10.
Therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit.
So he says, therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew. Ain't no dew falling on you or the work or the labor that you're doing. In other words, he closed the heavens over you. And you try to look to get promotion. You try to look to get an edge. You try to look for a way to get out. He said, man, I'm closing up the heavens. I ain't even letting no dew. Now, dew was always in the very beginning. He always had some dew somewhere. In the morning, there was always some dew. Come on. If it didn't rain, it had some dew on it, and it made things grow. He said, I ain't even giving you no dew. I'm closing up heaven. Living under a closed heaven, where I have no access to the things of Yah. He said the earth is stained from her fruit. So I'm closing it up. Ain't nothing going to work or grow for you, Israel, until you turn back to Yahweh in obedience. I guess this is a strong word for people today. Pastor, what was you doing? Eating something? What was your diet this week? Got you preaching like this. Goodness. I wonder if you preach about the love of Yah and his mercy and his grace. Watch what he does. Haggai 1:11.
And I called for a drought upon the land.
Now I want you to watch what he called the drought on. A drought is something that dries up, no rain, no moisture. He called it to be a drought upon the land that you've been trying to work, that you've been trying to do. Watch what he puts the drought on. The land, what else?
And upon the mountains.
So if you tried to go to the mountain for some relief, he said, I'm putting the drought on the mountain. Now, you know the mountain. Now, y'all know the mountain is almost to the sky. It's right where the clouds are. He said, no, I know you're in the land. You're going to think, if I get to the mountain, I'm going to get some kind of water. I get a bucket, I can get a skillet, I get a cup, something to bring some wetness to me. And he said, no, when you get up on top of the mountain, guess what? It's going to be dry too. So you ain't going to be getting no water, dew, or nothing from the heavens that you're going to begin to bring down and try to water what you're trying to do. See, that's what we've been doing. We've been trying to water our own lives and not water what the kingdom of Yahweh is all about. And notice I keep using the word kingdom. It's not about church. Yeshua didn't die for us to open up a church on every corner. He died for the kingdom. He said, I've not been sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So we already got a house. But we just ain't been working the house that the Father has. That's why I said, for my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it was not so, I wouldn't have told you. I'm going to prepare a place. So I guess Yeshua is building what the Father said build. He's still left here with a mindset to do the will of the one who had called him and sent him. He said, I'm going to prepare a place for you that where I am, you're going to be also. Are y'all hearing this? So he put a drought on the land. He put a drought on the mountain. What else?
And upon the corn.
And upon the corn.
And upon the new wine.
And upon the new wine.
And upon the oil.
And upon the oil.
And upon that which the ground bringeth forth.
And upon the ground that bringeth forth.
And upon men.
Stop right there. He said, I'm going to put a drought on men. I'm going to put a drought on men. What is this drought upon men? Upon the cattle and upon all the labor of thy hand. So here we are working in vain. Working for the wrong, in the wrong place, in the wrong scenario, with the wrong mind, and we feel a certain way because Yahweh said, I'm not going to allow you to continue on allowing my house to lay waste while you continue on building up another culture, another people's thing. And I blew on it to show you that it wasn't nothing. It's not going to be able to stand. Remember, there were 7 captivities, and we've been in all of them. This is the last captivity.
That's right.
Are y'all hearing this? This is 7 captivities wrapped up in one. And we love it with all our heart, mind, and soul. Because we're not working towards the things that Yahweh is calling us to work in. I done brought a farmer here. I done brought a vegan chef here. And all these people are willing to say, let's do this thing for the kingdom of Yahweh. But he said, I'm going to put a drought on your cattle and everything that you do and all the labor of your hand. Come on.
And Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, the son of Jostack, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of Yahweh, their mighty one.
So after Haggai prophesied, Zerubbabel and Joshua, the high priest, with all the what? Remnant. Everybody say remnant.
Remnant.
Of the people obeyed the voice of Yahweh, their mighty one. After he got through speaking, wasn't all of the house of Israel, but the remnant heard him. The leaders heard. Not all the leaders, just a portion of us too. They heard what he said. They understood what he said. They applied what he said. They started walking in what he said. And they began to obey the voice of that. See, that's what the Bible's talking about. Are you going to be willing and obedient? Willing and obedient. Willing and obedient, those are the ones that's going to eat the good of the land. But when you refuse and be rebellious, you will not. Watch this.
In the words of Haggai, the prophet, as Yahweh their mighty one had sent him, and the people did fear before the Lord.
So this prophet spoke and the people listened. Ain't that something? Watch this.
Then spake Haggai, Yahweh messenger, and Yahweh message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Yahweh.
It says, then said Haggai, Yahweh's messenger. And Yahweh's message. I love that. So it lets you know he's identified not as his own messenger, but as the messenger of Yahweh. Speaking Yahweh's message. Y'all see how you see why Yeshua would not deviate from that point? No, I'm only going to come and give you what I've heard. I'm not going to give you nothing extra. I'm not going to give you nothing else. I'm going to only deliver what I have heard the Father speak to me. I am Haggai's, Yahweh's messenger, and I have Yahweh's message to the children of Israel. And after he got to say, he said, I am with you. Hallelujah. How do people know when you start walking in obedience, Yahweh is going to be with you? We got 2 more verses and we finish, y'all. We'll finish the second verse, the second chapter next week. Then said Haggai, Yahweh's messenger, in Yahweh's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, says Yahweh. I'm with you when you obey. But when you disobey, you got something to pay, don't you? Yeah. Let's see verse 14.
And Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel.
Oh, Yahweh stirred up the what? Spirit. Everybody shout spirit.
Spirit.
Everybody say ruah.
Ruah.
He set up this, he stirred up this set-apart spirit in Zerubbabel. Come on.
The son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Jostack, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people.
I wonder why his spirit had to stir him up. Because if you don't have the spirit of Yahweh, you ain't none of his anyway. So he sends his ruah, the spirit of life, so that you can begin to have life and begin to work and be stirred. We have to have the ruah hakodesh. We got to have the set-apart spirit of Yahweh. The moment they decided to obey, then the spirit came and started to stir them up. Hallelujah. You ought to say, Yahweh, send your spirit.
Yahweh, send your spirit.
Let it empower me. Let it stir me up. Hallelujah. The spirit of Yahweh wants to stir you up. The moment you decide to obey, the spirit of Yahweh will stir up Zerubbabel, it stirred up Joshua, and it only stirred up the remnant in the midst of people who did not want to do it because they had already said it ain't time to do it. Yes. So let them sit and say it ain't time while you begin to do the work of Yahweh. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We got to have the spirit of Yahweh. We got to have the spirit of Yahweh. We got to have the spirit of Yahweh. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Look at what it says.
And they came and did work in the house of Yahweh of hosts, the mighty one.
And it says, and they came and did the work in the house of Yahweh of hosts, they got it done. They started working and doing what the Father had said from the very beginning. Y'all hear it is?
Yes.
They started doing what the Father told them to do when everybody else said it ain't time. So what is the what is the thought pattern here? Okay, you're saying it's not time, but then there was people that started doing it. How do you reconcile that? I said it wasn't time, but I'm doing it. But it ain't time. Well, I'm doing it. How do you know you do? How do you know it's time? Because somebody's doing it. So let's go with the crowd. Let's go with the remnant that's doing the work.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Last verse. What is that?
In the 20th day, the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king.
Haggai always had his prophecies written down so that everybody could know when it happened, what day it was, and he wrote it down to perfection. In the 20th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king, that word came to Haggai, which was 16 years after they came out of the Babylonian captivity. He told them to get to work. He told them to consider their ways. He told them to stop procrastinating and start working on what Yahweh had told them, what they had started 16 years ago. Ain't that something? 1967, some people left and went to Israel. Now we can begin to continue on what they started. When the Spirit is upon us and we have a willing mind to do it Yahweh's way. The foundation has already been laid. Now it's time for us to put up the walls and the roof and just put the whole house together. And this is the generation that's going to get that work started. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
How many people got a word from Yahweh on that one? Anybody receive something?
Yes.
Come on and give the Father the best praise you got. Hallelujah. Yahweh is calling his people. He's calling his people through the prophet Haggai.